So ever since Sparking Zero's release back in October, every day I see more and more people sour on the game.
I'm kinda sad to say it, but Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has fallen off.
Spare players.
I'm glad y'all brought up Sparking Zero. Y'all, that game is dog.
Sparking Zero suffered the same fate as Jump Force.
Sparking Zero died?
Nigga, I waste my fucking money on Sparking Zero. Nigga, I could've got a BBL. A fucking BBL!
At first it was good, but could be better. Then it was the game has no content. Now that the game is a scam and people feel robbed out of $100. This combined with the lack of support for the game, not just from the devs, but from the community at large, made what should have felt like the biggest Dragon Ball game of all time feel like just another footnote in a massive media machine of anime games. Hey, what's going on guys? You're watching the Modding Corner, and today we're going to be discussing if Sparking Zero is overrated or overhated. Now, from the second this game was announced up until its release, I could easily say that this was the most overrated Dragon Ball game of all time, especially once this game got into its full hype cycle. With every trailer that released, it was looking more and more like it was going to be the greatest Dragon Ball game of all time. No, the great shift of anime games as a whole, the likes of which we haven't seen since the peak days of Storm 4 and Fighters. You had content creators gassing it to no end, me included. Bandai doing everything they can to hype it up and building it around the fact that it's the big comeback and the fourth installment of the legendary Tenkaichi series. Even though we had Raging Blast, but nobody cares about Raging Blast anymore. The devs firing all cylinders with the roster, and not just including characters from Z and Super, but also GT in the movies on release. The story mode being reminiscent to the likes of the older Tenkaichis like 2 and 3, was the what if scenarios and even what they were covering. It was really shaping up to be one of the greatest Dragon Ball game experiences of all time, and then the game released. And for those first 3 days, if you bought the $100 season pass version, it truly was, as everyone was talking about the game and how cool the characters are, how hard Grade 8 Vegeta was to fight, and other cool things like Gohan Black. But then the honeymoon phase started to end. One day you booted up Sparking Zero and you tried to beat the story mode. You finished Goku route and wait, that's it? No Broly? But he was in all the marketing, and they used the collector's edition to tease a fight with him and UI Goku. What the f? So surely they're saving it, right? So you finished Vegeta's storyline and it ends at the Buu Saga? Okay. You do the rest of the what ifs and realize that the game peaked at Gohan Black. And maybe you shouldn't have spent those 4 hours trying to kill Frieza and Piccolo's route. But you know what? That's okay. There's always the custom battle mode that the devs hyped up. And while you're an uncreative person, you're looking forward to what other players can make. So you check it out and oh no. Okay, so maybe that's not for you. But hey, there's always ranked. Yeah, okay, never going back to that. And then you begin to realize something. This game kinda sucks. There's nothing to do after you beat the campaign, and even then the campaign was pretty underwhelming. Where's the GT and movie stuff? Why is there no Super Broly? Why does Vegeta's story end after the Buu Saga? And why the fuck is this Piccolo mission so goddamn hard? So after that, you stop playing the game for a while until they announced the Superhero DLC, which once again looks pretty exciting. Once you get a chance to actually play it, you see all the new characters and wonder what they added to the story.
That's it? That's
Superhero DLC.
That was just a bunch of cheap
reskins. Yeah, the first Superhero DLC was pretty bad, especially if you didn't pay for the season pass. But outside the characters, there was basically no content to do afterwards. You try out the new characters, you close the game for a couple of months until the next batch of characters release. And after that, the Sparking Zero hatred kicked into overdrive and people were saying that it was a disappointment. It fell off, we were scammed. And to be honest, I was right there with them. Like, yeah, why didn't we get more what ifs? Why is custom mode so bland and boring? Why does the Xenoverse videos perform 3 times as well on my channel? At first, I was so ready to make that why Sparking Zero fell off type of video to hop on the trend. I even have the script ready, but I ended up sitting on it for a couple of weeks, and eventually the Daima DLC came out, and I kinda really liked it. I went into it with pretty low expectations, and I had a pretty good time with all the new characters like Mini Vegeta, Goku, and especially Majin Buu. So what did this mean? Is Sparking Zero back and better than ever? No, I pretty much still dropped the game again immediately after I finished that live stream in short, and I just went back to waiting for DLC. But the hate for Sparking Zero only got worse and worse to the point where people are calling it a regret and a scam, and that's when it really hit me. Is Sparking Zero really that bad? Or did the community just overhype it? We can complain about what the game does and doesn't have all day, but at the end of the day, I don't think it does that much wrong. The combat is decent and stays true to that toy box feeling in Tenkaichi, and at the end of the day, isn't that pretty much what we wanted? And then it really hit me when I was playing local with my cousin, just shooting the shit and having fun. You know what? Maybe Sparking Zero is good, and maybe us not playing it every day is a good thing. Hear me out for a second. The original Tenkaichi trilogy released in a completely different gaming climate back then. So there was no microtransactions, skins, battle passes, gacha elements to keep you constantly coming back to the game. Back then, you just made a game, and if it was good, you'd stick by it and see it through to the end. And if it sucked, well, tough shit, either send it back to GameStop for $1 and a Twinkie, or put up with that game until Christmas or your next birthday. But when Sparking Zero came out, people thought they bought a forever game. You know, something like a Minecraft, Fortnite, or GTA, hell, even Xenoverse 2 to an extent, where you could put thousands of hours into those games and still have plenty to do. Everyone has like 1 or 2 forever games. Maybe you drop some, pick some new ones up, but what they have in common is they either get constant support by either the devs or the fans to keep those games alive. Sparking Zero is a game that you buy, beat, play some online, and never boot up again until it gets some DLC, or you know someone other than strangers to play with. And I think that's enough for now. We need to remember back when the Tenkaichi trilogy released, that's all we had for home console Dragon Ball games. So they had to make games that last. They had to make Tenkaichi 3. But now we have Kakarot for our accurate story retelling. We have Xenoverse for the crazy what ifs and alternate stories. We have Dragon Ball games on our phones, multiple ones at that. We have experimental games like Breakers and Squadra. We even have a real Dragon Ball fighting game with amazing visuals and an incredible community at its peak. So what I'm saying is, we don't need games like a Tenkaichi 3 anymore. And I'm not saying that so it's okay to settle for less, but just to put into perspective that we are in a completely different era of gaming. The goal of Sparking Zero was to bring back that classic Tenkaichi feeling with all the new bells and whistles from the new Dragon Ball content. And honestly, when I'm locked in a solid 1v1 with a friend or family member, I still get that feeling. So in my opinion, I think Sparking Zero is incredibly overhated right now, and it did its job well, and I'm happy about my purchase. I'm also a YouTuber now, so I can write that shit off on my tax. Hey guys, hope you all enjoyed today's video. Hopefully I was able to provide a different perspective on the game, as I am getting a bit tired of people shitting on the game for just existing at this point. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more Sparking Zero stuff, let me know in the comments and I'll consider bringing it back to the channel. If you want to go a step beyond, for 99 cents you can become a channel member and get access to all my videos and shorts whenever they are ready, as well as various Discord benefits. And fuck it, I'm pressing the red button, I'm gonna launch the Discord server. I know I've been having issues setting it up and I may formally announce it again in the future, but you've all waited long enough, so consider the soft launch today. I'll put the link in the description. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials too if you just want to see more of me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So they changed Kid Goku and Vegeta Super designs to match the Broly movie, but they don't add any story for it or what ifs. This is the worst Dragon Ball game of all time. I should have got that fucking BBL.